approved camera, which is very insane.
Yeah.
Like that's a very insane thing. And it's funny how there's like, if you think about artistic integrity, you think about people like Vincent Gallo, like people who make actual art. There's really very few of those people. Most people are like trying to get a script sold or trying to get a project picked up by, like, it's the stuff that goes into it. There's very little actual art. It kind of reminds me of, you know, the game Super Hot?
Yeah.
One thing I really like is,
It's a good game.
you know the game Braid?
Yeah, yeah.
Who made Braid? Jonathan Cocksucker? Jonathan Blow.
Do you like that game?
No.
What game?
Cocksucker? Or Fish Blow? Fucking Braid.
I like that game.
So this guy is a fucking douche who always has something to say about where the state of modern game development.
Yeah.
And he made this piece of crap little kids game with bad art called Braid that's like amazing because it has a time mechanic in it. What a piece of shit this is. Hold on a second.
You're making me really upset now.
I'm sorry, Chris. Hold on though.
Did you play it?
He said, what did he say? He makes statements about video games being like the highest. Oh, I don't remember what he said. He said that video games are the highest form of art because they combine all other forms of art. They have music, they have story writing, they have a film animation element to it, but they're also interactive. So it's art on like a whole nother dimension. And I think who the fuck is the guy? Kant. I think Immanuel Kant said that movies are the ultimate form of art because they combine storytelling, music, and a visual aspect. And that's like that's the same way of looking at it as like it's just a really boneheaded way of looking at it because you're saying like this is the best house because it has an indoor pool or something like that. Like it's like you could easily there are hundreds of indoor houses where the indoor pool makes it like mildewy inside and like shitty all the time and like makes your bedroom smell like chlorine. Like there's a reason why all houses don't have indoor pools or like indoor go-kart tracks. Like, this is the best house because it has an indoor go-kart track. All good houses must have indoor go-kart tracks. And you're not thinking that like a two-stroke go-kart smells like a lawnmower. You got that in your house racing around all day making noise. And what most games do is they combine bad storytelling, bad art, mediocre music, and mediocre interactivity. There's no game that ever takes best storytelling, combines it with the best visuals, the best music, and the best interactivity. There's no game that does that. There are games that are shining examples of one thing or another, but there's nothing where it comes to such a synthesis that it's elevated above the genre of music in general, or the medium of a book in general. It's just it's retarded to say that. It's like it's almost. In fact, I would say that it's the opposite that's true. With video games, you tend to make more disposable crap because the gamut of what you have to do is so overwhelming, and your mastery as a creator, if you're a game designer, you're probably not good at anything, first of all. But if you're good at something, it's the interactivity element. You can make a platformer with this little fruitcake reverse time thing that was so stunning in 2007 when it came out. Oh, you can reverse time in this game. Wow, this is the most amazing game of all time. But the fact is that most game designers are like you look into doing game design because you don't want a real job, and so you end up and you definitely are not a good writer, musician, or visual artist. And even if you were, it's impossible to bring those things together in a synthesis that elevates your game above like books. So there's that. what was he saying? Oh, the cinematography. So yeah, I think cinematography was just destined to die in the same way that like all this other stuff, like entertainment is driven by advertising mostly, and the places where there are exceptions to that are the places where you get exceptional content, like a video game. Video games are still kind of good because you have to pay for them, whereas phone games are terrible garbage because the way that they're monetized is via advertising. But the advertising monetization model kind of has sucked the life out of all this stuff. And the Netflix studio model, the streaming is like, so what happened was you had Hollywood studios, and then you had this kind of, the Hollywood system kind of died off or slowed down or took a sidestep, and then you had like internet stuff come up, and there was this sort of like renaissance of like YouTube poops and like interesting YouTube content and like fun places to go on the internet. And now it's kind of coming back to a centralized model because everything's on these streaming services. They figured out, like Hollywood figured it out, and it's not Hollywood. It's these tech. So it's worse than Hollywood because it's these tech. I can't say homeowners. I'll say the other word. It's these tech people. So they're people, like the guy that runs Netflix. These people, they don't know anything about cinema. They don't care. They look at it as a user network. Like that's how, like they're not thinking. The people who run Netflix and Hulu, they're not thinking we need to be the best. We need to make the best films that the world has ever seen. They're not thinking that. They're thinking we need to be the biggest user network that streaming video has ever seen. That's like the way they think about it. They think about it in a San Francisco guy, homeowner. Okay, not that they own homes, but you know what I'm trying to say. That's the mindset that they're bringing to it. And at least in the old days, at least when Hollywood was these Brazilian or whatever nationality, I don't know what nationality they were or ethnicity, but at least when Hollywood was these old Harvey Weinstein molester guys, at least when they were that, they were at least like, I'm going to make the biggest film that the world's ever seen with starlets and actresses, and you'll know you saw you saw a Weinstein movie. Like at least back then there was a degree of like, we got to make a big, good film.
Yeah.
Like Terminator 2. At least back in the day, you got Terminator 2. Now you got fucking My Buttinator 2 with the drag queen, underage cuties Netflix My Buttinator show. That's what you get now. Back in the day, at least the old. That's what Frank Zappa says about music. Back in the old days, you had these guys, these fat cats smoking cigars at the top of the music industry, and at least they said they were out of touch. They didn't know what they were doing, but at least once in a while they said, that music sounds pretty weird, kid. Let's give him a chance. And that's how you got like weird music in the 70s, 80s, etc. That's why movies were better, is because some egotistical, whatever nationality they are, I don't know if they're Brazilian or Portuguese or what, but whatever their ethnicity, whatever it was. But you had these guys with egos saying, watch this, I'm going to make the biggest film of all time. You're going to have Michael J. Fox and a time machine. It's going to be crazy. There's lights everywhere. Production design is going to be but now it's like, well, we are thinking about doing a project about lesbians and race in small town Georgia. And it's going to be an illuminating and shocking piece that really opens some eyes. But they do that. They're buying like 50 things at once too, these Netflix guys. But yeah, the accessibility of art is not always a good thing, because when you get digital tools that make it easier to do stuff, when you get cameras, when you have readily available cameras that are like cheap, sometimes they fall into the hands of idiots.
This game looks like it sucks.
Dude, I'm watching this guy play, and he's so bad.
I don't understand. Like,
And it's freaking me out, man. I don't know if anyone...
what is he doing? Like, why is the guy playing like that?
Well,
It's pissing me off wicked insane.
He's mad or crying.
That is true, though.